What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee, and look who's in the building. Q Parker is here. How you feeling?
I am well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining me,
Yes.
and congratulations on a new project, The
Yes.
Evolution of Romance Part 1, and this is part of a trilogy.
Yeah. Well, it's not necessarily a trilogy. It's just a volume series.
Okay.
This first one is volume 1, and I plan on being in this romance arena for a while, and so you may get 4 or 5.
Oh, okay. I thought you were planning 3, but you don't know yet.
We just gonna go until I feel like I've explained thoroughly the levels of romance.
What has your evolution been?
So my evolution, I started in this game as a teenager, and so I've evolved as a man. I've evolved as a musician. I've grown in a lot of areas, and so I write about all of those journeys. But then also romance has also evolved. Romance looked different in the 80s than it did in the 90s and so forth. And so marrying those two words together, the evolution of Q Parker and the evolution of romance, I thought it was just so fitting to bring some romance back into the markets.
You think romance is different like we define romance differently, men and women?
I don't know if we define it differently. I just think we're always seeking it. I think it's a component that relationships need and they're yearning for. Romance to me is the courting, it's the dating, it's the little nothing text that you get in the middle of the day. It is that head rub, it's that note.
I thought you were going somewhere else.
It's all of that. No. I'm saying it's just those little subtleties that usher in love and
courting
lasting.
feels like it's so different now.
It is. And so my version of the evolution of romance is to just kind of bring back those foundational principles of what dating used to feel like. And, I grew up watching the soap operas. And so I write from a relational type of angle, but also I lean into what I used to watch as a teenager, the soap operas, when it was all about affection, love, kissing and holding, and everything was soft and gentle. And, that's what we signed up for as male R&B artists.
But also a lot of drama in those soap operas, too.
I leave that part out. But again, those call for some good songs, too.
No, you're right. What do you think? Do you think you were always, since you grew up watching soap operas, right? And you got in this business as a teenager.
Yeah.
And I have to imagine that you saw a lot of things, and even just the way that women reacted to you. Mm-hmm. So were you always, do you feel like even back then you still were a gentleman, or do you think that's something you have to grow into?
Nah, I mean, the way that I was raised, I grew up in a mother-father household. Mm-hmm. And so I saw my dad be a gentleman to my mom every day. My father is he's small in stature, but he's so huge. My dad is about 5'4", and so, but I saw him every day just wear the role of manhood and fatherhood, and so he was always gentle with my mom. And so we as children we portray what we see. Mm-hmm. And so for me, when I got into dating, I was always a gentleman. I always believed in chivalry and charm and all of those delicate components of what manhood is also.
You've also been married for 23 years, I have to assume that you're doing something right. Yeah.
And I got a real one, man, who has grown with me. Charlinda Parker, man, she's grown with me. She exercised a lot of patience, so that we could get to these 23 years. Getting married at 25. I was 26 years old, the height of 112, the peak of our records in our career. She had to be understanding and exercise some patience. And so we don't get here without her being able to exercise those things.
What is your love story with Charlinda Parker?
Yeah, my love story is my best friend is Wingo. One of my best friends is Wingo from Jagged Edge. Mm-hmm. And so one particular day back in 98 or 99, I did my regular, yo, where you at? He said, yo, I'm at this, Dikembe Mutombo had this spa in Buckhead, and my wife and her twin sister, they managed the nails and the facials and all that division of the location. And so Wingo was actually there. He's like, yo, pull up on me. I pulled up. Charlotte ended up doing my nails, and the story began.
Wow, it started from that?
Yeah, the story began.
So you immediately, was it like an immediate chemistry or?
Kind of. I knew that something was there, so to the point where I would, and we laugh about this still to this day, I would like intentionally mess up my nails just so that I could get another appointment on her book like 2 days later. But I just think from those occurrences, we started to develop a liking to each other, and we just kept it kind of under wraps for about maybe 12, 13 months or so, until we finally just like, all right, we can let people know that we're actually dating. And then we got married after 2 years.
Wow, that's quick.
Yeah, I proposed after 2 years.
Yeah, you knew it. You know, there's so much pressure, I think, in this industry, especially in the position that you were in. Like you said, it was prime time. You're an R&B singer, and sometimes they don't want you to seem like you're in a relationship or not even married.
You know it. As they say, don't spoil the fantasy.
Yeah.
Knowing that you are in a relationship, but it was told to say that we all single and we're all looking, and because of course the records were portraying that we're all these single individuals. But I do believe the best way to be an artist is really be authentic. And we did what we thought was the best during that time. But I can look back at some of those ways we did things, and I'm totally the opposite. And even as I'm developing artists today, my advice to them is just be you, be authentically you. And if some people don't like it or can't get with it, it's all good. It's like billions of people out here. Everybody ain't gotta like you, but those who want to rock with me, I'm cool with y'all.
Audience.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, you do these summer camps also for the youth where you are trying to teach them all about this business and things that you actually had to learn along the way too. What inspired you to decide to do that? Well,
so when I look at the next generation, I want to do my part in making sure that they have all the tools to be able to have a career. And that's the key word, a career. And don't treat this industry as a one-off, something I can just do over here, then I got 3 more things over here to do, but really have the expectancy of it being a career. And because I started this game as a teenager, I entered not fully knowing the business side. And the reality is everybody's not going to sign a record deal. And so if you're going to be an artist, you're going to have to be an independent artist. But as an independent artist, you need to really know how to navigate properly. And so my summer camp is designed to do not only nurture their gifts and make sure that they become great at their talent, but also giving them the terminology of understanding contracts and how to pick a manager and understanding licensing and royalties and publishing and copyright and all of those things, so that as an independent artist, you will know what's going on in your business.
Yeah, independent is a wave right now too, because back then when you started, it wasn't really no independent route that you could go. But now there's so many more options to go like more straight to the consumer, where you can just have distribution. But that's also confusing for people too.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't know, you don't know. And so even what's crazy, sis, is I have been in this game, next year it'll be 30 years. And the first 20 years of my career, I was signed to a major. And so there were some components of the game that I wasn't aware of, I'll put it that way. And so as I started my independent journey in 2012, and then which was partially independent, but then now present day as a fully independent artist, I'm now even discovering things that I'm like, so that's how that went down. Oh, really? When we was doing all that was what was happening? And so as I'm learning more, I'm passing it on to the next generation, because they're going to enter the game as an independent artist. And so what I get, whether it's lessons of success, failure, it's my job to pass it on to this next generation.
Yeah, no, because you don't want people to, it's more like a learn from my mistakes type of thing.
Exactly.
And I saw one of the things you talk about is sunset clauses.
Yeah.
And everybody needs to know about that.
Being able to navigate a contract is just so important, because that contract is binding. And once you sign it and your signature on it, you just got to go to the end of it. And it may not be in your best benefit. You may have signed away your publishing, your royalties, which is your legacy.
Right.
And we're getting into this game so that our grandchildren's children can be proud of what they OG did, right? And the only way you can do that and get there is through ownership. And so again, the primary objective of what I do with my foundation is teaching the importance of ownership.
How do you feel about signing to a major label again? Is it something, I know some people would say if it was the right situation, but now that you've gone the independent route, you've been educated through life and through teaching yourself, what do you think about it?
I enjoy the independence. I really do.
Okay.
I enjoy it, because what's funny is nowadays through independence, your small team really is label services. So you can a la carte somebody to just do marketing and promotions. You can hire an expert to do PR. You can hire somebody to do social media. So even in my independence, I can still contract these independent providers.
You could also get a little AI help with
you
your
can do that
marketing.
Too. But yeah, you can do that too. However, I still believe in people, which is why, part of my independent journey is getting in the car and we ride. Azim and we're riding up and down the highways doing in-studio interviews. Like I get calling in and the phone is and all of that, but I like this right here. This is how I was raised. I want you not only to feel my music, but I want you to get a sense of who I am. So when you're playing my songs, there's another real component to it, and not that you would just service the record and like, yo, play this song.
Yeah, it does mean more.
That's my guy Q Parker. He came here, we had a great conversation, and I like his song too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, FFF. Let's talk about that, because that's the song.
Yeah. You like that song?
I do.
Why you like that song?
I like anything that is raw and to the point.
Yeah.
And I know you're going to come do the podcast lip service at some point.
Yeah.
But it also, I think, has a deeper meaning than what is on the surface too. And I can appreciate that as well.
Yeah. So Triple F was created because I feel like I am a deliverer I'm a messenger. And when I create, I want to be the voice for men, but I also want to be the voice for women. And so a lot of my career has been taking the vantage point of what women want from men. So fellas, we need to do this. Make sure, guys, you're doing this.
What do women want from men? I want to know a couple of things.
Well, I think women want presence. They want security. They want provision. They want to be the one. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. And they want to be dealt with gently, right? With soft hands and soft words. Charm, charisma, like all of that, right? I'm a romance dealer, so I'm really connected to all of these things, right? I've been married 23 years, so I know these things. And so part of my career has been providing information to men what women want. And rarely is there a forum where women have to sit down and just listen to the heart of a man. Right? We're in a relationship, right? Which goes both ways. We give and take, we sacrifice, we give. If I really love you, I'm willing to give you whatever you want. If you love me, you should be willing to give me what I want. And so rarely is there a conversation where men get to just speak authentically on some of the things we want from women.
Right.
And I wanted to highlight 3 of those things. And so the song Triple F, it is do you curse on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the song is Triple F is fuck me, feed me, and be my fan. And when you listen to the song, it describes what this means. Obviously, every man wants intimacy. We can't live without it. So we
cannot live.
We have to have that. Like that's one of the reasons why we was here to procreate. How you procreate?
But
you
I
got
always say when people, because you've been married for so long, right? And is there ever like dry spells where?
Nah, you have.
No? Okay.
It's like rhythm. You have your rhythm, right? And when you understand your rhythm, it ain't necessarily classified as a dry spell or a hot season or whatever, because you understand your rhythm. And so the first F is we can't live without it. Men need intimacy. Feed me. Yeah, I want you to be able to cook and feed my stomach, but the more important piece of that feed is feeding my soul. We need our souls fed. And then the last one is be my fan. Yep. Support me, affirm me. Yeah, you got it, babe. Go kill it, man. Great job. And so then it finishes and said, when women master these things, men will give you anything you want.
Yeah, that's important. And I want to say that the position that you're in too, because like you said, when you met her, you were at kind of the height. And there's ups and downs. And there's times that you're disappointed in how things turned out. There's times that you got to figure out a different way to move forward. And you need somebody that's going to be good and supportive throughout all of that.
Understanding and patient and all of those things. And, just for a period in the relationship, have the man as the top line. A lot of times what the women needs is what is the driver on how we're able to sustain this relationship. And men sometimes need, like I used to tell my wife, what you want from me, I want the same thing from you. And what you need from me, I need the same thing. So if you want that text in the middle of the day, that's just like, babe, I'm thinking about you. I need that text too.
Yeah, because sometimes I also feel like sometimes men try really hard to act like they don't need certain things.
Yeah, That's the pump fake.
Yeah, and try to seem like they want to be the ones that's always providing and doing these things for you. And a lot of times women don't do that for men too. Yeah. In a way.
Yeah. I mean,
there's a lot of games people play too. Like they're waiting to see who's going to text who. But when you're married, it's different. But I think in relationships and courting, people are like, what's the rule? Okay, so I met him. I liked him. We went on a date. Should I call him first? Should he call me? Like, how did, you know?
Nonsense. That's nonsense. I feel like go where your heart says go. If you feel like sending that message, send it. If you feel like calling, call. What you got to lose?
It's just, I think it's harder for people now because it's so many distractions and it's just so accessible.
Yeah.
And people have told me that, like, it's, you know, I'm dating this person, but then he's following this person, he's liking her pictures, he's here, he's there. And it's just so easy for somebody to just send a DM or, you know, reconnect with somebody they haven't seen in so long.
Yeah. And because of that, which is why I feel like the romance and the dating and the courting has to be done, because, you know, we're expecting the relationship to be microwaved. Put it in for 2 minutes, it's ready, and I'm out the door. Well, a relationship needs time. I said like, you gotta let that thing marinate. Like, cause when you slow cook anything, it's the right temperature. You can taste all the seasons. It's tender. And like the meat just falling off the bone. Like it's all those things. And so if you apply that same mindset to your relationship and understand that if you want it to be really potent, let it cook for a little while, right? And so the first day after you met somebody, you're not going to have a revelation like, oh, this is the person. No, take your time, have some phone calls, and be so compelling and be such connected to that individual that you can't make him or her stop DMing somebody, but it'll just happen because we're so connected to each other. And now I realize that you can provide everything that I need, and those others will just start falling off. You
know, Keep on Loving, that's a standout song on here too.
Yeah.
And I do want to say, I felt like I heard a little Two Occasions
You
on
did.
there when I
You did. That was the goal. One thing I learned from Puff, man, is how to give a song that's already a hit record another life.
Right, a little nostalgic,
but
its own twist.
Exactly. And you know, I'm very careful when I do that because you want to add to the legacy of the record and not take away from it. And Two Occasions is just such an iconic record. We needed to make sure. So myself, Rico Love, Ghost Kid, we sat and we like, all right, we can't make this a thing until it's really, really one of them ones. And I feel like we did a great job of just sprinkling just enough of the sample in there.
I was like, I can't tell 100%, but yeah.
You were right.
Okay.
You know your R&B a little bit.
It took me a second because I was like, I had to like figure. I was singing it through, and I was like, Two Occasions.
Yeah.
And so now I saw recently also you've been doing your press for this. Does it bother you that people will still be like, Q from 112?
So, it doesn't have to be stated because I'm always going to be from 112.
Yeah.
And I've worked really, really hard to have Q Parker as a standalone. And even as I've journeyed into this independent, anytime I open my mouth, you're going to hear 112. 112 raised me. I am 112. We are 112. We all have contributed to this legacy of 30 years. And so even as I am Q Parker, I'm always representing 112. So it doesn't bother me, but I am just working really, really hard so that Q Parker can stand on his own. And then, by the way, he's a founding member of 112.
Yeah. No, I was just wondering because sometimes it could be irritating, like when people are always like, Angela from the breakfast, and like I have my own thing now. It's been some time.
And and it's just so it's difficult sometimes for people to embrace something new that they have been accustomed to seeing for so long, and then they'll try to portray their discomfort onto you. they may be uncomfortable seeing you now operate outside of the Breakfast Club because they just want you to always be
people
right
are coming
here.
to be like, we miss
Like-
you. I'm like, but happy you're doing your own
Right,
thing. It always
right. It's the same thing. You know, we love what you're doing,
It's
Q.
celebratory.
Oh my
They
God.
mean it in a good way, though.
They mean it in a great way.
Positive way, because it shows that sometimes it is the coming from something that's iconic and meant so much to people,
Mm-hmm.
and people are used to seeing you in a space, and then you're doing your own thing. They're happy for you, but the nostalgia is also like,
They still want you over there.
Yeah. And it could happen, right? One day.
Oh, always. You know, I'm never the guy to hinder something nostalgic like that. You know, I always remain hopeful, and my goal, my objective is, you know, we all are having singular pursuits at the moment.
Yeah.
And so there's a space where you can support the brand of 112 as it is, but also some room to support Q Parker. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be an either or. It can be both.
Yeah.
Because we cut from the same cloth.
Yeah. No, we were talking about how I saw Bow Wow talking about this recently. How the music from back then, those concerts and those artists are the ones that are really selling out shows and tours right now.
It's just something
and it's
sweet.
been harder for the newer artists.
It's something sweet about that 90s era, man. Like, I'm just so glad that I was a part of arguably one of the dopest eras of hip hop and R&B.
Yeah.
Nobody can ever take that away from me. When my grandchildren's children talk about their GP, they're going to be able to go in the museum and see their GP right there when you're talking about the legacy of hip hop and R&B. You can't mention hip hop and R&B without Bad Boy.
Yeah.
You can't mention it without Biggie Smalls and 112 and just what we were able to do as a record company and just artists underneath this record company. And so I'm really proud of that. But for me, it's about legacy, and I think that my legacy will be in a great place in terms of what I've done musically with my brothers of 112, but also as Q Parker.
Threesome is also how you ended the album.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, what are we talking about here? But
Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished.
But the threesome is with the soul and your body. So just
Mind,
so you know,
body,
him
and
and his
soul.
wife, well, I don't know what they really do, but that's not what this song was about.
Yeah,
necessarily.
You know, as a songwriter, there's this thing about just being an eye grabber.
Yeah.
And when you look at the song list, you know, I could have put on there "Fuck Me, Feed Me, Be My Fan," and people would have just went right to that song because why is Q Parker singing a song talking about "Fuck Me, Feed Me, Be My Fan"? Why is Q talking about a threesome? And it's so funny. And when I play the album and people see the song list, they'll go and, oh my God, it's just so romantic, and I love "Keep on Loving" and "Beg" and da da da. Threesome? How you gonna end the album with a song called "Threesome" when you just had all this romance? And I'm like,
did you listen?
Just listen. Just keep listening. And by the hook, they're like, I get it. It's just, I call myself.
I got those out of the way earlier in my
Listen,
life. Now
listen.
the threesome is with your body and soul.
Yes, there's always just a deeper meaning, and I take pride in, as a songwriter and as a creative, to always have the mind working, because there are levels, as I said earlier, there's levels of romance, and the true threesome, in my opinion, is having intimate moments, mind, body, and soul.
Mm-hmm. You know, do you think that being married and in a relationship as long as you were kept you out of a lot of trouble when you were younger?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I got married young. Doesn't mean that I was a saint. But again, I got to give my wife so much props, man, because my wife is 4 years older than me. And so in my 20s, she was already like in her early 30s, my late 20s, her early 30s. She was already kind of like destined for what she wanted in a relationship. And I'm still trying to figure out, you know, who I am, who I was at the time. But I just love her so much because she was patient. She, you know, allowed me the space and grace, but also the space for me to like grow into full manhood. And so I do believe that everybody has to have the patience to allow the relationship to really just develop into what it ultimately will become.
and then you can put on the song "Beg" in case you
Absolutely
need some more grace.
Well, see, so the interesting thing about "Beg," which was the first single of this romance, Evolution of Romance, is we redefined "Beg" and gave "Beg" an acronym, bringing endless gratitude. So this version of "Beg" ain't because you messed up.
Yeah.
The song says, this ain't because you done went through my phone. It ain't because none of that. It's none of that. This "Beg" is just, we're going to beg for each other because I love you, because you're worthy. And if both parties are doing this type of begging, the relationship stays in a healthy place. So it ain't the old school begging.
Yeah, it's not the old school begging.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting because sometimes people write from a space of like, for some reason, people also really connect with music that is more about like painful relationships. But this is more of a celebration.
Yeah.
And this is more of a romance. And we need that too.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of music that we listen to now is a lot of like, I messed up or
Yeah. And granted, there is messing up is a part of I think it's in the equation of a long-lasting relationship. Like grandmama and them don't get to 50 years without some peaks and valleys.
Right.
Right? And I think if you live long enough, everybody has to have a bout or some bouts with the word forgiveness and grace, whether you're going to have to ask for it or you got to be on the other end of it. And, you know, the road of forgiveness and all of that is still doable, because the person who did the offending has to show remorse and repent and do all these things. But the offended also have some work to do too, because now if you're going to really forgive, are you forgetting?
Yeah.
Are you going to do the work that we can actually move forward?
Forgive doesn't mean forget, though.
It doesn't. But if you're going to fully forgive, you have to be in a space where we can continue moving forward.
Somebody called the other day for advice for the advice segment, and they were talking about that. Like, I don't know how I can stick this out. You know, my wife stayed with me. She says she forgave me, but she's still giving me a hard time about the cheating that he did. And I understand both sides of that, because you can't act like it doesn't hurt you and not express yourself.
Yeah.
And it had been like, I think he said like a year. You know, and sometimes it should get like better and better over time. Yeah. But sometimes it is like people have a little breakdown and have to bring it back up again.
Well, I think communication, this is when communication really, really becomes a thing, because when there is infidelity, like, I don't know if the two individuals alone have the tools to work their way back. And so here's when therapy and counseling and licensed professionals can help you get back on the road to recovery, but also understanding that ain't just a next day we good type of situation. It takes time, and no one person can say, all right, it's been long enough, because again, you don't know how it's really, really affecting me. There are triggers. And if that is the case, the therapy help you deal with the triggers, because we can move on, but the triggers are going to show themselves tomorrow, 3 months down the line, 3 years down the line. But if we're having effective communication, he or she can say, you know, today was a trigger. Blah, 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 blah. How did that make you feel when this happened?
That.
Blah, 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 blah. Let's talk through.
Done
Come on, yo. Come on.
I hear it.
I can't sing about romance if I don't know all the levels.
Okay, I like this aspect of it too. That was amazing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was trying to express, because you're right. Sometimes we don't have the tools to be, and that's where a licensed professional can help you with that aspect of it, and learning how to talk to each other, how to express ourselves, how to respond, and all of that.
Yeah. You can
like it.
You can talk through anything if both parties are willing to have effective communication. And I always say communication for clarity, not just exchanging words, but my goal is to make sure you have complete clarity on what I'm trying to say. And your goal should be to use the words so that I have complete clarity of what you're trying to say.
Man, I really enjoyed this conversation.
I have too.
And this project, The Evolution of Romance Part 1.
Yes.
Is that you can never tell me nothing bad about Q Parker. We
I
just
love
had
that.
a good
I love
sit-down
that.
talk.
I love
I
that.
almost feel bad about what we're going to do on Lip Service when you come. No, I'm just
Nah,
kidding.
let's go.
I'm
Let's go.
kidding. I'm
Let's
kidding.
go.
It's not going to be bad. But make sure y'all listen to this. And this is a real solo album. You don't have it like bogged down with guest appearances. It's all you.
I needed it to be like this reacclimation, and this re-entering back into the game. I needed everybody to get 100% of Q Parker Volume 1. Now, as I go to Volume 2 and 3, I may bring in some friends and some features and all that, but Volume 1 needed to be the romance dealer himself.
Who are friends of Q Parker?
Man, so one thing I learned in my youth, in my early days, was relationships are key. Mm-hmm. And so in my phone are other artists, it's entrepreneurs, it's people in radio, it's old label executives. I do Q Park and Friends. And so anybody from the 90s era and after that, I'm pretty sure I have a great relationship with them.
Okay.
Personal relationship with them.
So anyone could pop out. We don't know.
Anyone could pop out.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate you for coming through.
Thank
I know
you.
we've been working hard on making this happen. Thank you, Azim.
Yes.
My guy. Thank you, Sydney. Thank you, guys.